the rationale is, well, we don't want kids accessing pornography in school, etc. I mean, I think, there are some issues in light of what we were talking about earlier about, the dangers of distraction. Let's put it that way. So, we've all been in the situation where, you've got a lesson in the computer lab, the class kind of piles into the computer lab, and before you know it, kids are kind of on their Facebook, or whatever, or they're accessing, in Britain it would be, they're accessing the Manchester United site, or they're whatever, and that is a problem when you want to kind of focus them on what you want to do in the lesson, yeah. But is the answer to that filters and firewalls and restricting access? Well, maybe there's a question about how you think about that, but I think the reality is that we've got into a situation where the filters and the obstacles have become so extreme that actually people just give up. People just give up. And they think in a situation where increasing numbers of kids have access at home, they're then going to be thinking, well, even if I wanted to do my homework, I'm not going to be doing it here because it will take me so long to access what I want, whereas I know that at home I can just do it. So it's not resolved the problem, it's just put a bloody obstacle in the way of kids using this technology. So, I think we're in a situation where, again, there's a need to kind of to rethink this, and part of the problem, of course, is that people are not trusting students. Yeah, so if I have a problem with kids in my lessons accessing the Manchester United site when they shouldn't be, the answer to that is not to put a filter in. The answer to that is to say, well, look, why are they not focusing on the content of my lesson? I mean, and they might just, it's the equivalent of them kind of reading a book behind the cover of the textbook, or passing notes around the classroom, or whatever it may be. That the potential for distraction or distractedness was always there. What I need to do is to find ways of firstly kind of making my lesson sufficiently interesting so that they're and compelling that they're not going to be doing that, but also thinking, well, how do I pass some of that responsibility to them so that actually they become, if you like, self-regulating. So that's about responsible use. That's about saying, well, look, when you come in this room, you do not access pornography, you do not access these kinds of things. What you do is you stay on task and you focus on the lesson. But that's what you do in a lesson that doesn't have technology, or what you should be doing. So, I think there's a bit of a danger here that we're in a very kind of paternalistic, authoritarian way. We're restricting access, and in the course of that, we're just putting obstacles in the way. And a lot of the filters are so kind of crude and useless that that's all they do. They make the whole thing a pain in the arse.